And joining me now is the head coach of the men's and women's ski and snowboard team, Isaac Gibson. Isaac, thanks for sitting down with us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Isaac, you guys had another fantastic season that saw the teams being able to podium at nationals. But before we get into the success at nationals, let's talk a little about the regular season and then the start of your postseason that concluded with not only the men but the women capturing the Mid-Atlantic Championships for the first time at the same time.
Yeah. Um, I think going into this season, or I guess like before the school year actually started, we weren't really sure exactly, how the team was going to shape up. We had lost quite a few students and only knew of a couple, recruits coming in. And then we just had so many new students come in, whether they were entirely new to the university as like freshmen or transfer students, or just students who, heard about the program and wanted to get involved. But the team grew tremendously just in this past season, and especially on the female side of things has been really cool to see. We have the Snowflex Center, which is such an incredible resource for us, that we're able to train and practice throughout the entire fall semester when pretty much no other schools are practicing. So that's always just such a huge advantage for our team, and also a really huge opportunity for us to just invite other schools to come here and practice and build relationships because of the facility that Liberty University holds. So that's always such a cool thing for us to have, and just seeing the team develop, through the practice season, moving into the competitive season. I had some pretty high hopes for, the talent and the athletes that we had, and just what I had seen coming through the fall semester, for how we would do in the regular season, and just a lot of people coming through and just really helping out the team to be able to, consistently come out on top and on the podium, and just finishing up a awesome season.
And yeah, let's go ahead and talk more about the women's program because, yeah, you were just touching on how you weren't really sure how big that team would be, especially after last season where they did podium at nationals. But not only did the team look like it grew its numbers and size, but you not only made it 2 years in a row to podium at nationals with the women, but also you captured the program's first ever national champion with Colleen. So talk a little bit about just the growing part of the women's program, and now just being able to establish them as now looks like a strong team on the ladies side of things nationally.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, in the past, it had always kind of been back and forth where maybe we'd have a few girls in the program, and there's been plenty of years where we haven't had any. So there's been a lot of fluctuation there. But 2 seasons ago, we brought in a female coach, which has been a huge help in being able to just have someone for the females to work directly with. And I think that has been one, struggle in years previous before we had a female coach, is just a lot of maybe intimidation, just having so many, guys in the program and not as many girls. But then having the female coach, and then also just being able to, in one season, see so many girls come in and having like quite a few girl athletes where it's a lot better balanced and not just like tipping so heavily. I think that is such a huge part of being able to not only have a female program, but have a female program that is consistent in the numbers, and one that is really attractive for other females to want to join, for the community aspect, as well as, being able to compete.
And now, while you're touching on how one program is growing, it was about sustainability for your men, and they continue to show why they're one of the best, not only snowboarding, but skiing programs in the country. So talk a little bit about just the team, not only just it's being able to keep its national pedigree, but as with your ladies, the men were able to have another year successful where they podium at nationals.
Yeah, for sure. I think, John Hunt coming back in for the ski team, and then again, like Milo, who was in his senior year, as well as other returning athletes, and had the experience and had been to the national event and everything like that. And having those continual years of experience on the team, that has been such a huge part of being able to compete at such a high level. And it typically all falls back to having the Snowflex Center here for us to be able to train, because, you know, your average athlete comes in with experience and is pretty good, but really hones in here at the Snowflex Center and just gets that repetition they need. Because when you're competing in this sport, that a ton of fear is part of, you know, the driving force behind whether or not we're trying these tricks. It's oftentimes because, you know, you're too scared to try it. The physical ability that it takes to perform a lot of these high level tricks isn't that insane. It's more so just having the repetition and confidence in being able to do it. It's just such a mental thing that we here at Snowflex are able to get that repetition to be able to very quickly develop these skills that often take, you know, years and years and years on snow, because they just don't get the same repetition that we get here at Liberty.
And now let's move ahead into the offseason, because as we touched on it, your team was one of the few that were fortunate to be able to complete out at season A and complete a national championship before COVID happened. But now with things and the restrictions, talk a little bit about obviously this team preparing for next season, because you got to think obviously it's going to be a men's and women's team that not only will podium again, but potentially a national title can't be too far on the horizon for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think very easily our female team in the slopestyle competition this past season, we could have taken a first place podium. I strongly believe if Emery was able to successfully land her run, because she was performing a backflip over one of the jumps, and none of the female athletes were even attempting that trick. And it was really cool for her to be able to learn that trick at Snowflex, and she came so close to getting it. You know, it's things like that where that's, you know, better preparing us, you know, for next year. And me looking at her as a, you know, first year transfer student here at Liberty and going, you know, what is she going to be able to do next year? And so many more, you know, athletes on the male snowboard team and ski team, as well as the female ski team. So just really hoping that things clear up for students to be able to at least come back this fall, and you know, for us to be able to have another full training season and just practicing throughout the fall semester on Snowflex. And I think if we're able to do that as normal and move into our regular season, we're for sure going to have a really strong team this year.
Well, Isaac, we can't wait to see how things shape up for your team. And yeah, hopefully things will die down so that you can get your riders back on Snowflex so they can prepare for a strong 2021 campaign. But thank you again for sitting down with us. And yeah, make sure to continue to stay safe out there. And we can't wait to see how you guys do next year.
Yeah, thanks so much, Patrick.